Hello to all my beautiful sisters from Empower Sisterhood. This is Janelle Sarr, and I am the founder of Empower Sisterhood. I am so excited to have you here with me for my very first Energize Your Heart and Soul Google Hangout. It's such a pleasure to have you here. I want to kick things off just by talking for a second about why I created this Hangout and what it's all about. The purpose behind this and my intention with it really is to create a space where women can come together and really just drink up love and light and energize heart and soul. This started because I was talking to my sister, my actual biological sister, one evening, and I was giving her the advice that she needed to find a place in her life that she could find love and light, a place that she could go and energize herself. And so as I was talking to her, I realized what I was saying and had the divine download, as I call it, the moment that I realized that this was a great opportunity to create this space for all of the sisters here at Empower Sisterhood. So I welcome you to the Hangout this evening, and I am super excited to have you here. We'll be doing this on a regular basis, so everybody in our sisterhood has a place to come and just drink in this love and light and fill up our hearts and souls. The topic of the evening tonight is going to be comfort zones, and so I want to kick things off by just telling a little story about somebody that I met just a couple weeks ago. I guess it was a few weeks ago now. I was in San Francisco for the 4th of July, and I was out on a cruise on the bay to watch the fireworks over the water on the 4th of July. And I happened to sit down next to a lady whose name is Kellie. And I just felt Kellie's energy right away when I sat down with her, or sat down next to her. And if you know me, I'll strike up a conversation with anybody. So I immediately struck up a conversation with Kellie. Kellie, can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
We are rolling live, just so you know. I was just telling the story about how you and I met on the boat on the bay in San Francisco.
Okay.
So I'm going to just do a really quick intro here, Kellie, and then I'll do some questions and answers with you, and you can tell your story to all of our sisters who are here on the Hangout with us.
Thank you.
All right. So Kellie and I met on a cruise, an evening cruise on the San Francisco Bay for the 4th of July. And like I said, I happened to sit down next to her and struck up a conversation, and immediately I could feel Kellie's energy. And through the evening, we just started sharing different things. And Kellie had an amazing story that I'm going to have her share. I invited her to join us tonight because I want her to share the story with you. But before we do that, I just want to talk a little bit about comfort zones in general. I believe we as women, really all people, are designed to live inside of our comfort zones. So there's a reason why they're called comfort zones, because they're very comfortable. And so it's very easy for us at times in life just to get into routines and get into things that feel really comfortable and really don't push us to the limits at all. Those comfort zones really just keep us in a even keel status quo state. And I believe the best parts of life lie outside of our comfort zone. It's important, I believe, for us to understand as women what our comfort zones are all about and then how we can push past them. And when I talked to Kellie on the cruise, that was exactly the story that she shared with me. And so, again, that's why I've invited her to join us tonight and share her story with comfort zones. So before we jump into that, I want to just touch on the role that our ego plays in our comfort zones. So part of what conditions us to be in a place where those comfort zones can really hold us into that space is that our egos, which all of us have an ego. If you're a human on this planet, you have an ego. It's just the way the system works. And our egos are designed to keep us safe. So they're designed really to make sure that we don't do things that put us into an unsafe place or take us outside of those comfort zones. And the ego will use fear as a way to keep us inside of that comfort zone. So it could be, you know, something as simple as trying a new experience in your life, and when you get ready to do that, your ego will pop right up and say, wait a minute, is this a good idea? Let's talk about all the things that could happen in this space if we were to try this new experience. And so the ego's role is to keep us safe, and so therefore it keeps us in this comfort zone and doesn't let us expand. And so with that, I'm going to kick things off here with Kellie and let her tell you a little bit about what she did for her 40th birthday. So part of what I was so intrigued by with my time with Kellie was that she shared with me that she did a 40-day challenge for her 40th birthday. And during her 40-day challenge, she said yes to everything. So she really pushed the edge of her comfort zone and, quite frankly, created new boundaries and new comfort zones through that experience. So, Kellie, I want to just start off by saying, what inspired you to take this big leap in your life and do a 40-day challenge for your 40th birthday?
I think I just gotten to a point in my life where I needed more. I had gotten tired of things being the way they had always been. So I just thought that it was time for a change, time to see something new. And I wanted to find out for myself if I was doing things the way I always did them and if they really worked for me, or if I just did that because it was comfortable. So I kind of wanted to challenge everything that I thought about myself, about my world, about my life. And then the flip side of that is I have a daughter who went away to college. So it was just her and I, and then she spends her first year going off to college, and I'm on my own. And then I also got laid off from work. So I'm looking at laid off, daughter's gone to college, home alone, and who am I, where am I, what do I like, what do I not like, all of those things. So I just decided to push the envelope to challenge everything. If it was food that I said I didn't like before, I ate it. If it was a place that I didn't go before for a particular reason, I went. If friends that I hadn't talked to in a while invited me out, I went. I tried different things that I was afraid of. People that, I really didn't know. I just, opened myself up to new things. I just didn't say no for 40 days. So all of that changed leading up to my 40th birthday. I kind of put a flag in the sand and I said, okay, first 40 days of my 40th year, I just won't say no. So that's what I did. I just didn't say no.
I love that. I was so moved on the cruise. We've talked since then, and I was moved by the story, and here I am moved again by it tonight. What an amazing thing to just wake up and make such a commitment in your life. So I want to point out a couple of things. Obviously, you are facing a huge new chapter, had lost your job, had your daughter go off to college, and you're approaching your 40th birthday. So there was a lot of things happening for you at that point in time. Tell me a little bit about how it felt as you were making this choice in your life. Did you have fear that came up in your life? Was there excitement? What were you feeling around it?
It was a little bit of both, or at times a lot of everything. I was afraid. It seemed like as much of failure as success, because at that point, all of the things that may have been roadblocks before, you got to get the baby fed, you got to get the baby to school, you got to take care of the baby. Well, the baby's off taking care of herself, and then, you got to get to work, you got to do your 9 to 5, and then you got to do all those things. So all of a sudden, my excuses were taken away. There was no excuse for me not to do anything. When I wake up in the morning, I could do absolutely anything. I mean, absolutely anything. I could drive to a different state. I could learn karate. I could do whatever I wanted with that 24 hours. So as much as it seems like a very liberating thing to have happen, it's a very scary thing too, because you don't have those excuses. So yes, fear played a large part in it at times. Sometimes I feel super strong and I feel super motivated, and other times I'm just afraid of, that next choice. Am I going to do the right thing? Is this going to turn out right? What's going to happen in the long run? Should I go running back to corporate America? Do I make the baby come home from school? What do I do with myself? Is that what moms do? So I just have to make it work for me.
So one of the beliefs here at Empower Sisterhood is that it's very easy for women to be defined by labels, or roles that we play in our life. So to be defined as our job title, to be defined as a mom, to be defined by, you know, a significant other, a spouse, somebody's daughter, those types of things. And so I find it very interesting that for you, really, life had dealt you a hand that took away all of those labels, really took away all of that external validation that was defining who you were. And in that moment, although there was fear for you, there was also this, I can do and be anything, right? Because those labels had been taken away from you, and life just left you in a place that you had some choices to make as to how you were going to move forward. Is that a fair summary of what your experience was like?
And I felt good about that because I had two choices at that very moment. I could retreat to the familiar, right? I could very well move to where my daughter went to school, get another corporate job, and then just continue on the comfortable. Or I could look at this as just a blast of an opportunity and see what's out there. And that's what I did. I just chose to, you know, take the bull by the horns and just see what comes, take every day as an individual day and make choices for that day and, you know, just have fun with it. And along the way, I've met family, you know, I've reconnected with my dad, I've eaten some amazing food, I met you, that was a great boat trip, you know, so I think along the way, at no point have I ever regretted opening myself up to saying yes. And to be honest, you know, it kind of hasn't stopped. You know, I still look at it through a positive, open grid. You know, I'm doing some entrepreneurial things. I'm making shirts and doing some brand management. And I went to art school 5 years ago. So, you know, I'm able to use those things more than the corporate side. And that's what gives me energy and life and motivation rather than crunching numbers and pushing paper.
That's great. Again, what an amazing story that you have. So I want to talk about a couple of things that you told me when we were sharing all about your experience and what you went through. One of the things that you said to me was you contacted a really good friend of yours, and when you made this decision, and there was something that you said to her. So first of all, I want you to share with our sisterhood, what is it that you said to your friend when you contacted her?
Oh, that she has 40 days.
Yes, that she has 40 days.
40 days, and I won't say no. So she has 40 days. If I said no to something before, she has 40 days to bring it up, and I won't say no. So that included sushi and snorkeling and some other wild things.
I love it. Leave it to our friends, right, to do those fun experiences with us. The reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I think it's something that's very important for our sisters who are on this hangout with us tonight to really take hold of. And I loved that you called your friend. You made this choice in your life, and then you called your friend and said, help me do this. Help me embrace this challenge. Be a part of this with me. You know, take this journey with me. And I think it's very important to note, again, what a key role sisterhood plays in our lives. We as women are wired to connect, and we are wired to share experiences with others. And so I think it's important that part of your experience was that you reached out to that friend, and obviously you listed foods and experiences and things that you guys got to embrace together because you were willing to reach out to her. So I think that's just important for everyone on this call to take note of, is how key it is to have sisterhood or have relationships around you that you can support you when you make these big choices in your life. Would you add anything more to that, Kellie, as far as your experience and how important it was for your friend to be a part of it with you?
I think the counterbalance to that is when you're feeling afraid, you have somebody who knows what you're trying to do and they can support you. So if you start to feel like maybe you can't do this, maybe it's too long or too much, or you're up against a challenge, you know, not only do you have an accountability partner, you have support.
Absolutely. So, so true. There's one other point that I really want to hit on that you shared with me, and you've touched on a little bit here already in our conversation tonight, but you really hit on it when we talked the last time, and that was you said that you created relationships in your life that you didn't have before. So you connected with your dad, you connected with your uncle, you connected with siblings that you didn't know that you had, and that you found a lot of I'm sorry, say that again?
Oh, I'm sorry. Two sisters and a brother.
Two sisters and a brother. How great is that you got all of those experiences? And so you really summed that up when we were talking about saying that you found love that you didn't know was out there waiting for you
Yes.
until you were willing to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
And just as I'm saying it right now, I have to tell you, I have chills in my body. It just sends like this bolt of energy through me because I think there's so much power in that. And that when you got out of your comfort zone, you found love outside of that comfort zone. So when you're willing to push through the fear, then you found love. That's just amazing. Is there anything you would add to that for our sisters here on the Hangout?
No, that's perfectly said. I absolutely agree with that statement. When I opened myself up, pushed past the fear, there was love there, and it just, it was really great. Filled me up with love and love that I could carry back to my old relationships. So
I love that. I love that you found love. It's out there all around us, and again, sometimes it's so easy for us to miss it because we're caught in our comfort zone and we're not willing to face that fear that's in front of us, the fear that could, when we embrace it, can get us to the other side of things. So again, kudos to you and your whole experience. I think it's just amazing what you did in your 40-day challenge of things.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to touch on one other thing that I think relates very, very well to your story, and that is that I think one thing we're conditioned to believe as women is that to change the world, we really have to have like some ginormous plan, right? There has to be, we have to travel to far off lands, we have to maybe visit gurus, we have to have a lot of money, we have to do all of these different things in order for us to have a big impact on changing the world. And I personally believe that if we want to change the world, it all starts with changing our own world first. And then once we change our own world, then the external world starts to change. And so I am curious if you have any thoughts on that, having been through your 40-day challenge.
I do. I agree that it just starts with a decision. Deciding to let something upset you or not. You have the choice to whether you get frustrated or not frustrated. You have a choice to whether you say no to something just because you want to stay comfortable or say yes because you may be open to a new experience. So it's all a small choice that leads to a bigger choice that leads to something bigger, and before you know it, you're looking back and you've made all of this succession of great choices and had these new experiences that you didn't know were there. So it just, with that first small yes, just say yes that first time.
I love what you just said. That first small yes. That's really what it comes down to. Then one other thing I want to ask you about is I'm a strong believer when we change our own world, then it has a ripple effect. And how the world changes, that it starts with us and it just becomes a wave, right, that moves out into the world. And so are there other people who have been impacted by your 40-day challenge, by your one small choice that you made? Are there other people impacted in your life by that?
I think my relationships with those people has gotten better. My relationship with my daughter has gotten better, with friends and things like that. I'm better able to communicate. I'm better in touch with my needs and what I need from those friends, and I'm more honest in my communication. So I'm just really happy that it helped that those old relationships get better, and then you take this really great person into new relationships because you're full of this, happiness, and you're so centered within yourself, then you're just, happy with your decisions.
I love that. You're happy with your decisions, and again, when you're full of happiness, it radiates from you, and we can have an impact on people all around us. It could be someone who's a close relationship. It could be, somebody who stands in line behind you at the grocery store that you have an exchange with.
Right.
I just believe that happiness radiates out into the world. So if you were to
how we met, like to the way we met. I'm sorry. I forget about the delay in the computer.
That's okay. Say one more time what you said.
The way we met, it makes you open to other people and like-spirited people when you're saying yes to things and being open to challenges.
Amen to that, sister. I agree. I don't think we would have met if we both weren't in an energy state that we were open to each other. So I think that's a great point. If you were to summarize for our sisterhood here in a few sentences, what would you say is the best part of your experience from your 40-day challenge?
Receiving love and having love to give.
Oh, that's pretty powerful. Receiving love and having love to give. I love that.
Yeah, you're opening yourself up to people, and they're giving you that love. Like I told you about my uncle, he said the love was already here. You just had to come get it. So I had to go through the fear, to connect with him, and then I have his love, his support, and then I have that love inside me to give to my daughter, to my friends, to share with extended family, to share with new people you meet. So, there's a difference when people add love or they take from you. If you're tired when you deal with a person, or if you're happy after you deal with a person, all of that plays into it.
So I'm going to summarize by saying one small choice, one small decision that you made brought you love that you could fill yourself up with, and then you could give to other people.
Perfect.
And that, my dear, I believe is how the world changes. And so, again, that one small decision in our own life has a huge impact on the world. And that's something I really want to reiterate to our sisterhood here tonight, is that to change the world, you don't have to travel to those far-off lands. You don't have to visit gurus. You don't have to have some ginormous plan that you put into action. You just have to make one different choice, one small choice that can have a huge impact on the world. So I want to share an affirmation with you, Kellie, as well as the rest of our sisterhood who have joined us here tonight. For those who don't know, on our website, inpowersisterhood.com, that's inpowersisterhood.com, we give away a document called Affirmations of an Awakened Woman, and it's numerous affirmations that are just really designed, they're infused with love and light, and they're designed to help women be able to connect to that woman, that amazing woman that's inside of them, to awaken to who they really are. And so one of the affirmations, I just felt, Kellie, really summarized your experience and what we're sharing here with the sisterhood tonight. So I'm going to read that and share it with you. The affirmation says, "As an awakened woman, I know it is okay to be afraid at times. I understand some fear serves to mark the edge of my comfort zone and my current limitations. I face this fear with the courage to push beyond the constraints of my current limitations, and I welcome the opportunity to leap into the infinite potential that I hold inside me." It makes my heart sing as I read that, and I can see the picture of you in the bottom corner of my screen here, and it just makes my heart sing as I read that, and then I look at you and say, you are a model of that. I can't thank you enough for what you did to share who you are and what it means to live this affirmation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure to be here with you and your sisterhood.
Thank you so much for that, Kellie. Excuse me. One other thing that I just want to talk about before we end this, Kellie has a special little treat for those who are on the Hangout here tonight. As Kellie mentioned, when she lost her job, she had a choice to make, if she was going to go back to corporate America or she was going to embrace something that she was passionate about. Do you want to share real quickly with our sisterhood what you chose to embrace and what you did instead of running back to corporate America where it was comfortable and safe?
So I started with some brand management, and also, so within the brand management that includes like logos and printed materials, invitations, so it's mostly graphic design, but I do some pen and pencil artwork, drawing, painting, things like that. But I also screen print and iron on t-shirts. So I thought that it would be really great to give some shirts out to your community.
What an amazing treat to share with them. So here's how I thought we could do this. For those who are on the Hangout, if you go to our Facebook page, just facebook.com/inpowersisterhood, again it's IN Sisterhood, you will see a post that I put up about 30 minutes before we started this Hangout that just said, hey, we're about to get started. come join us. For the first 5 sisters that actually make a comment on that post and give us some feedback, just tell us what you thought about this Hangout. We will get you out 5 shirts that Kellie's designed. She designed them with the Empower Sisterhood logo, which I'm super grateful for. I appreciate you doing that, Kellie. And so we will share those with the first 5 sisters who actually make a comment on that post. Again, it's facebook.com/InPowerSisterhood. It's IN Power Sisterhood. So pop over to the Facebook page and make a comment there. And then we will catch up with everybody who does that, the first 5 people who do that, and we'll get t-shirts out to you, compliments of Kellie. So I just want to give you a chance here, Kellie. If somebody's interested in having any logo work or t-shirts or anything done that is your passion work, where can they find you?
So I'm on Facebook right now, and it's just Kellie Moland, but my business name is Avenue K, and I'm still in the designing stages. So what I'll do is I'll link to your page. I'll put my business card up with a little logo and make sure your community has my contact information.
Sounds great. And just real quickly, Kellie, can you spell your first and last name so if somebody's trying to find you on Facebook, they will be able to do that if they don't by chance see the link to your contact information?
Sure. It's Kellie, Kellie. Last name is Moland, M-O-L-A, N as in Nancy, D as in David.
Perfect. Again, Kellie, I'm so grateful to you for joining me for our Energize Your Heart and Soul Sisterhood Hangout here. I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed, as I've told you before, and I will keep telling you. I just think it's divine orchestration that we were next to each other on the boat, and that we've connected. We've become sisters, and I just love that. So.
Yes, I agree.
All right, I'm going to wish our entire community then a good evening. I hope that everyone has an amazing night, and we will look forward to the next Hangout. Thanks again, Kellie.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.